So I'm lying in bed last night, thinking about Rafa's mom. Thought to myself, what if I lift the glass up out of the way? Maybe then I could get the plastic off.
Got him!
This here box was stopping this plastic from lifting up. All I had to do was open it up and yeah, got it off. There's the camera. Looking all nice. Done. Blam! Aerial. Sweet, now the camera is done. I've got the aerial adapter plugged on. I think I can put the head unit in now. Let's try that. Okay. Harness. Camera. That one. Microphone goes on this funny little hanging off doodacky. Extension lead for GPS. Aerial. Okay, shove all this in this hole. Shove. There we go. I think that's shoved enough. Test. Okay. The battery on this car is very low. Which needs a charge. That's working. Tuner. Camera. Yes, it is. Cool. And I better check that the reverse light trigger works as well. So if I put, oh, that's working. Do a test fit. I'm not finished with this dash yet. I still have to do something to make it look good in these sections, and I'm also going to be putting a momentary switch on this blank which was here for the air horn, which I have to install today. So it's not completely finished going on yet. In fact, I probably shouldn't have plugged it in because I still have to take it off to put stuff on the back. Oh well. I do need to pop it on though, just to make sure the test fit is working. If I can get it in between these two things, that would be good. Okay, so stereo is pretty much done. Only thing I haven't really finished is working with the dash, but I think I'm going to leave that to the end because that's the sort of thing that if I run out of time can go without. You know what I mean? Like I have got other jobs I have to do today, and if push comes to shove, if there's one thing I don't get done, I want it to be filling in those gaps. But I want everything else to be functional. So I think I should probably start working on the CB aerial and the air horn now that the camera and the stereo and everything is done. I have to find a place to mount it all. And I also need a momentary switch which can go on here.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so I got myself a momentary switch. I went down to the electrical store and got one, and it's going to go right smack dab in the center of this black pedal. It does have an LED in it, but it takes 2 volts DC, and I really don't think he would care enough to want to pay for a voltage reducer for this to light up when he pushes it or when he turns the illumination on or anything like that, so I'm not going to do that. But first step, I need to get this all ready to go, so I'm going to use my Dremel with the cutting wheel to cut most of that back junk off it, and then I'll drill out the right size hole in the center of it and try and mount this in. Not sure how I'm going to go about tightening up the nut on the back side of it. It's going to be pretty tricky, but we'll see what I can do. I'll get that prepped and ready to go, and then I'll start looking at some wiring in the car for the horn. Okay, so for the CB aerial and the OOOGHAA horn, I've spent a few minutes looking at it, how I thought I wanted to do things. This OOOGHAA horn has a bracket coming off it, which it was used for in the last car, and I thought maybe at first, I found this location over here, which I really like, because it's away from any heat, and it faces, if you guys, I'm not sure if you guys can see, but straight down there, I can see the floor of the garage, which is perfect because if this is firing out and hitting the ground underneath, then that means the sound isn't getting trapped inside the engine bay, and it basically means it's as loud as it possibly can be. So I thought at first maybe I'd use this unnutted bolt here to mount this on, but unfortunately just because of the size of it and this little thing coming off the side of the, what is this, the transmission, on the brake fluid, and this, it just wasn't really going to work unless I built a great big long bracket to come out, support it here, but then it would probably flex around quite a lot because I don't think we got anything super thick strong steel to work with. But then I found this bolt here, which actually goes through there and bolts the bottom half of the air filter on, and I figured out that I can actually, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this with one hand or not, but I've already tested it and it should work. But I can actually have this underneath there, and then the bolt can go through both of them and into that tapped piece of steel there, and then it will be sitting there nice and secure and firing at the bottom, which is perfect. So that's what I'm going to do for that. You know, this plastic bag's coming off the top here. Wonder why. Oh, I see, he was protecting the terminals. This was already on here, I didn't do this. I might do a new one. He was protecting his terminals. And for the CB aerial, I've already tested and made sure that I can have it over on this side and close the bonnet with no worries. And I'm going to try and put it as far up towards the windscreen as I possibly can. Probably somewhere around there. And then for the wiring, this is the only grommet I could find. It's going to have to go along the back and into that grommet right at the back there in the middle of the car. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it is back there. I couldn't find any on the sides of the cars, even looking from the inside of it either. So yeah, the only other thing I haven't thought about location for was the relay for this, but I'm sure I'll find a place around here somewhere, and all of the wiring for it will get loomed up together, because the relay for the OOOGHAA horn is going to be out in the engine bay here, and the only wiring for the horn going inside the car is going to be one wire going in to the switch, which I'm gluing at the moment, and that switch is going to ground the relay, and the relay is going to be on permanent power and from the battery. Cool, that's a plan. I can do this, should be not too hard. I'll chuck you guys on a time lapse and see how I get on. Okay, so I'm pretty much done under the bonnet. As I said before, I was going to try and go through that center grommet, but first thing I did was prod it with my number 8 wire, and it turns out that grommet there is actually hard plastic or something. It's not rubber, so I couldn't go through it. I looked all over the firewall for ages trying to find a place to go through, starting to think I was going to have to drill a hole. Then I had a thought, what if I went down the inside of the guard and in through sort of the kick panel area? That might be a better idea. And I found this little plastic bung here, so I ran the wires through that, dropped down this whole guard piece here so I could see what I was doing. And you're not going to really be able to see, but that big loom there is actually the master loom. I thought the master loom was going through that nasty one in the middle, but they must at some point in here duck into the side guard and then go down here and up through a big rubber grommet in there. So that's where I've managed to get the wires going, through the rubber grommet. And then they pop out quite high up in the back left corner there. And so yay, got the wires into the car. Next I can run this black wire long enough up to those plugs there where the horn button's going to be. And the other thing I need to do is solder onto the thick part of this wire, which is the coaxial aerial. For that I need to solder the head back on the connection, because when I took it out of his last car, I had to cut it because whoever installed it in his last car must have threaded the wire through a tiny hole and then crimped that connection on afterwards, because there was no way it was going to come back out. So I had to cut it, but I'll just resolder it and it'll be fine. So yeah, pretty much done under the bonnet. One last look, here's the relay for turning the horn on and off. The control wire is this black one here, it just sort of ducks down, comes back up. Oh, and where I got the power supply for the horn, I actually got it from inside the fuse box here. I wonder if I'll be able to show you. Rather than going to the battery, actually, come on, so the big thick yellow wire here goes under the fuse box, comes up, and there is a little inline fuse holder down in there, which has got the fuse for the horn. And then it's actually just plugged onto this terminal here where a big fuse would normally go, but there's only one side, the supply side, so that's not being used, which means I can use it for the supply of the horn. So that clicks onto there, the wire pops out the regular hole, and then the cover goes back on. There we go, back on. So yeah, done under the bonnet. The horn is mounted nice and securely, not going anywhere. Put that bag over it like I said. I don't know if you saw it in the time lapse, but I also got my little Dremel cutting wheel in under here and managed to cut some of the plastic of this of the air filter mount, just a support gusset. I just managed to cut a wee piece of it out so that this sat a bit more centered with the bolt, because before the support gusset was preventing it from lining up right. So I just cut a small piece out, and now that's good. Done under the bonnet. I can close this now. Cool. Turn the slide off, and there's the aerial just poking out of there. Nice. Let's just quickly test this horn. I just need to make sure it is still going. All I have to do, so if I touch this black wire onto ground, it'll turn on the relay, which will fire the horn. Yep. Nice and loud, so it's working. That's good to go. So now I'm going to put this guard section and floor here back together, and then run the wires to the locations, and after that's done, it'll be a simple matter of finishing off this dash piece, filling in these gaps somehow, making it look good, and then the job will be done. We're getting there, making progress slowly. Let's do this. Okay guys, I think I'm about ready to finish up. I got those wires in. Oh, I haven't done the CB aerial yet though, because he told me he wanted it in the center console here, so I have to extend that. But I've gone and put a couple of plastic, you can't see them because of the light, but trims there to kind of fill in those gaps. It's not going to come up to the stereo completely tightly, but I don't want to do that just in case I made them too close anyway. So hopefully it looks good. The wires for the horn are up there, the crimps. There's the other end of it. The button should work. Let's just get this dash back on now. The fun part. Okay, now this should work the horn. It does. Sweet. Think it's back in. Sweet as done. That stereo doesn't look too bad. I'm not that disappointed with myself. In fact, the trims are pretty much perfect. I'm very happy with that actually. Not bad. Just needs a wipe. It's all dusty. That looks good. I think he's gonna be happy with that. Sweet. Just down. I can start putting this back together now. And then the last thing I need to do is the CV aerial, and the car will be done. Time to start putting the car back together. All done, guys, there we go, just like that. Oh, finished! Stereo is looking not too bad as far as a botch job goes, you know, like the customer knew it was going to be a botch job. There's pieces of plastic down the side filling in those gaps that you can see there. The gap between the stereo and the side isn't actually that bad. I think I did a pretty decent job. So that's the stereo fitted into a location where it wasn't originally meant to be. That was a whole lot of labour. This button here does the OOOGHAA horn. By the way, this is what it sounds like. Works pretty good. I like it. Really nice feel to it as well. The CB aerial I extended and it comes out down here now. And there's a bunch of slack there which you can plug it into. He basically just plugs it into this thing here. It's not a walkie-talkie. It's just a scanner. And he likes to hear what's happening over the radio. So that's that. What else did I do? Did the reversing camera. So if I go onto reversing camera, that's the view we get. Nice wide angle. You can tell by the fact that the bumper is curving. Looks really good. And this navigation, TomTom navigation. Never done this before, but this was the first go and it looks pretty decent. Zoom in. There we go. What else? Oh, if I chuck it on ignition, and if I use my foot to put the foot on the brake, put it into reverse, that's what we get. And it puts the lines on the ground there. I could actually adjust those lines a wee bit as well. I might do that soon. So that's working. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what it's looking like up here under the bonnet. CB aerial just mounted on the side there. Pretty self-explanatory. As I said, the wire goes through the inner guard and into the inside of the car. And the OOOGHAA horn is just down there. Relay, power supply coming from the relay box. Yeah, that's it. Done. 1.5 days work. Probably a good thing that Porsche 911 that I was supposed to do today. Sorry guys, he hasn't shown up. I don't know, he maybe changed his mind or forgot or something, I'm not sure, but unfortunately I'm not going to get to do those speakers in that Porsche because he just hasn't shown up. Don't you love that? So yeah, should probably plug his dash cam back in as well. There we go, his dash cam's plugged back in. I probably could have hardwired that for him, should have asked. Could have ran it down the side. Oh well, didn't really think about that, I didn't realise there was so much slack. Oh well. So yeah, that's it, the Tucson's done. Other news in regards to cars I'm doing later this week, in addition to that Porsche 911 not showing up this afternoon, unfortunately, the customer who had the other Porsche 911 and the Datsun, he hasn't cancelled, but he's phoned up and postponed the jobs by a couple of weeks because stuff has come up. Not sure if it's money related or if he's busy or what it is, but he's just postponed by a couple of weeks. So the jobs hopefully will still happen and I will film them, but it's not going to happen this week, sorry guys. The upside or the flip side of that unfortunate case is that I get to work on this for the rest of the week, doing the Rockford Fosgate system. So I don't know where I'm going to start, but this will be what I'm doing tomorrow. So remember to tune in. What on earth is this thing just sitting here? Winker Position System Unit. Winker Position System Unit. It's just a module just sitting loose here. Fucked if I know. Anyway, that's today's video, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully my filming was a bit more on point and you could see what I was doing. I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I'm particularly happy with that OOOGHAA horn installation. I'm really happy with the way that turned out, especially that switch. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to tune in tomorrow because I'm vlogging, videoing all this week. So, as I said already, thank you for watching. Choose to be happy and I'll catch you tomorrow. Kite Ano.